Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting after Carlisle just lost 2-1 away from home at Northampton Town in what was, to be honest, disappointing and quite frustrating in the end. Look, there's just 6 minutes of the match where all three of the goals come. We score a decent goal. It looked to be offside on first sight, but some of the replays seem to suggest that it wasn't. Either way, it's quite tight. Even the Northampton commentators seem to think it was quite a tight call in the end. And look, even if does turn out to be offside, doesn't surprise me at all, because as I've discussed in the past, we know what these EFL referees are like. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was offside. And then it's just two moments of madness. They score a header from a corner that, the header isn't a header on. It's not meant to be a goal. He's not trying to head it in. He's trying to head it back to one of his fellow players. And the other guy misses it, and it just somehow manages to sneak in. It's bad defending. For a start, how he wins the header in the first place, and for two, how nobody gets on the end of it. A ball should not be able to bounce and go in from a corner inside the box. It's really, and it wasn't even a powerful header. It's so weak, and it still manages to go in. It's frustrating. It really is, really, really frustrating. And then less than 3 minutes later, Morgan Feeney heads it to Paul Huntington, who I'm not exactly sure what he does. Whether he's trying to pass it back to his keeper or whether he's trying to take a touch, I don't know. But either way, it's a brilliant assist for the Northampton striker. I really don't know what he's doing, and especially with Paul Huntington being as consistent as he's been this season, it was really disappointing to see, because we just collapsed in a matter of minutes. 4 minutes apart of those goals, where you can't, from being 1-0 up, you're 1-0 up in the 51st minute, and before the clock's reached 60, you're 2-1 down. That's unacceptable. You can't be letting goals in like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Simpson's really, really mad after the game, because I would be if I were the manager, because they've let themselves down. Usually, in a game against Northampton, Northampton are one of the best teams in the league, and I think I'd rather us play Leyton Orient than Northampton at the minute, because I think Northampton are just in that, I don't know, they're both very good teams, and so is Stevenage, but Northampton for me are probably the best team in the league at the minute. If they've got Hoskins, he didn't score today, but he's an absolute goal machine. He's a really, really good player. He's definitely going to win the Golden Boot with the amount of goals he's scored. As much as I love Dennis, and I think he's got an okay chance, Hoskins is definitely the favourite for that award. But yeah, look, usually you come up against a team like that and you get a narrow defeat. It's not the end of the world, but it's just the way that we conceded our goals. It's just so frustrating, the way that it was. It's not that they worked some really good positions, created some really good chances to get goals from. We give them both the goals. Neither of them were goals that should be conceded under an adequate defence. And I think it shows how much we miss John Mellish. I knew from when John Mellish was injured and when the starting 11 came out that we were in a bit of trouble, because, he's probably our most consistent player. He's the real rock of that defence, and he's really important to the way we play. We missed that, the weird position he seems to play of like an attacking centre-back, where, most teams have attacking full-backs these days, but we seem to be the only team in the league that has an attacking centre-back, and, we didn't have that without him there. That sort of free roaming role we didn't have. We also didn't have the ability that Simpson likes to have to change formation without making any substitutions, where he can put John Mellish into that midfield role and play with a back four instead of a back five. We didn't have that option today, to go to maybe like a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, like what he would usually do if things aren't working out. But look, there was a chance later on where Toby Shaw-Silva scored that the linesman seemed to think was offside, and I'm not so sure on that one. I think the goal that we scored was more offside than the goal that they disallowed. Whether they were trying to make up for it, no, I'm not sure, but I don't trust the linesman. It could have. I'm 50-50 as to whether it was offside or not, and I think the linesman's exactly the same, because the officials in this league aren't up to scratch, and you just gonna have to get used to it, because they're not going to change anytime soon. And it's a real blow, because I think maybe at times we played well enough to get a result. Last 15-20 minutes, we were really on top. as you expect in those sort of games. When a team's got a narrow lead, they're going to try and hang on a bit, and they did that perfectly well. Another thing I wanted to note on was Thomas Hawley. As much as I like him, as much as he had a good start to the season, he didn't fill me with confidence today at all. You know, I don't know what's happened to him. I think it's maybe that sort of mistake at Warsaw has maybe let him down a bit, but he just didn't look confident at all today. He didn't look confident against Sutton, and he didn't look confident here, and he's starting to worry me a little bit because he's definitely got a mistake in him. Because, you know, if he didn't have a mistake in him, he wouldn't be at this level. A man of that frame, that stature, that perfect build for a keeper wouldn't be in League 2 if he didn't have the odd mistake in him. You know, there's a reason he was linked with Everton and Arsenal, and there's also a reason that he is where he is now. Maybe he's a confidence keeper, which you do get, but I think he's got the ability. He just needs to show it a bit more because he looks so inconsistent at times. He doesn't come for crosses. He has a good few shaky moments, like he puts one out for a corner, he slips and lets the goal go out for a corner, and you just think, oh, is he going to have one of those days again? But I quite like him. I genuinely think he's a really good keeper, and I quite like him. And I think to be a good keeper, he should be constantly confident in his own ability, and I think that's what he needs to get hold of. He needs to get a hold of his own mentality and assure himself a bit more, have a bit more confidence, because look, I had a decision to make when I came on this podcast where I didn't want to slate him because I didn't want to knock his confidence a little bit more in case he ever sees the video, but at the same time, if watching a YouTube video can knock your confidence a bit, then he maybe doesn't have the mentality to be a first choice keeper at Carlisle. And I think that's his only problem at the minute. He seems to be a little bit shot for confidence, but in a top keeper, you can't be shot for confidence. That shouldn't be an ability, like an emotion that you face. Maybe I'm talking a load of dribble, but I know he's a really good keeper on his day, and I just want him to get back to being that because he looks so wobbly and shaky at the minute, and I just hope he can get back to his good self, because I know he's a good keeper, and he knows he's a good keeper as well. He's a really good keeper, and he seems a really nice guy, so I hope things do work out for him. But at the minute, he's starting to worry me a little bit, but maybe that's a problem to deal with for another day. I don't think either of the goals were his fault, by the way. I just think there was a few little shaky moments throughout the game that sort of worried me a little bit. But, hey, it's a loss. You're going to get them throughout the season. And look, this time last season when we went to Northampton, I remember thinking before today, win, lose, or draw, it's never going to be as bad as when Keith Millen first took charge, and that was his first game in charge, Northampton. 3-0, I think it was, or maybe 4. You know, we didn't look like creating anything, and it looked like every time they went forward they would score. It's a far cry from the last time we played them. The 3-0 anyways. I think we might beat them towards the end of last season. I think, yeah, we did. Shaw Silva scored, and Jordan Gibson scored a last-minute penalty, but yeah, disappointing today. Really disappointing. And it's more disappointing, it's more frustrating, because I know that those were individual errors and that we could be talking about a 1-0 win today. We really could be. But look, you get these type of results, and if you look on paper, a narrow loss away to Northampton, it's almost to be expected. I know you should never go into a game expecting a loss, but they're such a good team that it's not really one you can cry too much about. But anyways, thank you for watching the video. It feels like it's been a while since I've been on here. All these games getting postponed and everything, but I hope to see you on Boxing Day. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.